Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I have a yoga mat. If you don't, fear not. I'm also standing on my living room rug, so maybe you've got a rug that can be your yoga mat for today, or a carpeted area. I have a folded blanket. You probably have something like that as a throw blanket on your couch, or you've got a bath towel, a beach towel. 2 yoga blocks. An easy substitute would be 2 thick books. And for today, for the let go part, you might say, of our practice today, I have a bolster. Now, if you don't have a yoga bolster, no worries. I like the cushion from my couch. You can use a sturdy pillow or 2 as well. Anything that you've got that's maybe a little bit more rectangular than it is square, but anything that will act as this, even if it's square, is great for today. And then we'll start standing in our foundational pose, our mountain pose. Feet hip distance and parallel. Turn your palms away from each other, but let that originate at your shoulder joint so that it just naturally uplifts our heart. Your chin is floating parallel to the ground, so there's no strain, no lifting up of our chin. And it's here that we take a moment to stop. Breathe. To stop so that we can start. Follow your breath in, filling your lungs, maybe pausing a little bit at the top when you're full, and then out with a little pause at the bottom when you're empty. Inhaling fully and exhaling fully. Let's add some movement. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. And then exhale, just float your arms along your sides, palms facing out. Inhale, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, float your arms along your sides, palms face out. Adding more, inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, put a little bend in your knees, and for this first one, just take your hands onto your thighs. Let's use the traction of our hands on our thighs to feel our heart lift and our spine get long. So that traction helps. We'll exhale and hinge at our hips, but in this fold, which we might take a little deeper in a moment, I don't want it to be a rounding fold. So let's get very clear on a hinge at our hips and an elongation of our spine. And then we will inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and pause, floating our arms along our sides. Adding a little bit more, inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Hands can go to your thighs as we just did, or slide them down to your shins or your ankles, but remember that long spine. Now, inhale, uplift your heart like we did with our hands on our thighs. Exhale, fold back in, keep the length in your spine. Then inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V shape. We pause, palms facing out. Let's do that much one more time. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, uplift your heart, inhale. Slide back in, but length through the spine, exhale. And then rise, reach. Inhale, thumbs to the sky, V, and we stand in our mountain. Adding even more, facing that short edge of our mat, inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or your shins or your ankles. Inhale, glide your heart up and your hands up, then bend your knees deeply so your palms get flat on the ground. We step into a down dog. For our first one, let's step as wide as our mat and stay on the balls of our feet with our knees bent. Push the ground away so you create as much space in your spine as you can, and really that's true of your front body, your back body, your side body, and then walk forward, feet to your hands. Feet are hip distance. Inhale, glide your hands up, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold back in. We inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we pause, palms facing out. Again, inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees, palms flat, a step carefully to down dog, pushing the ground away with a hook in our tailbone, lifting our hips up. Maybe your feet are a little closer to hip distance now. We'll glide back and forth And inhale takes us to plank, and that's shoulders over wrists. Then hook in our tailbone exhales us back to down dog. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, hook in our tailbone, down dog. One more time, inhale, plank position. Hook in our tailbone, down dog. Walk forward, our feet come all the way up to our hands, and then inhale, glide your hands up, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we pause, palms facing out. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees, palms flat. Step it into down dog. Inhale, come to plank. This time in our plank, bring your knees down just beneath where they were in our plank with knees off our mat. I'm keeping my toes curled under. What we don't want is a collapse. So push the ground away and feel your belly towards your spine. And then as slowly as we can in one piece, with our elbows brushing our ribs, all the way to your belly. Once you're on your belly, uncurl your toes. Bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat. And let's make a very slow and mindful Sphinx pose. We're still not struggling our chin towards the sky. It's floating parallel to the ground. Traction your elbows towards you. Let that open up the gateway of your heart to come between your arms, and then press into the tops of your feet so that your kneecaps come off your mat. Either stay here or lower down enough that you can place your hands next to your ribs and find that same recipe. We all lower down, curl our toes under, place your hands next to your ribs if they're not, in one piece, through all fours, and then to down dog with the hook in our tailbone. We'll walk our feet forward to our hands, feet are hip distance. Inhale, glide hands up, heart up, exhale, fold. Then rise and reach, inhale, arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky, and we pause, palms facing out. Let's flow that. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart, bend your knees, palms flat. We step it into down dog. From down dog, plank position, and then carefully knees down and slowly belly all the way onto our mat. Uncurl your toes, either a cobra or a Sphinx pose. Lower down. Curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then we make our way to down dog with the hook in our tailbone. Lift your right leg behind you. Step your right foot forward. You might need to help it along. The other thing that might be helpful here is to take your 2 blocks tall on either side of your mat to assist as we assemble a crescent lunge. From our chest slightly low, but still elongated as if we had our Sphinx pose here. The recipe to come upright is to bend our back knee and come upright, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Because it's a little tight, probably in the front of our left thigh. Then you can work that back leg as straight as you'd like, but I don't want to dump in our low back. And we're trying to get away from pitching forward. So no struggle. We find the right way in which we can find some space. Then hands to your blocks, move them out of your way for down dog. From down dog, left leg now lifts behind us. We step it forward, and many of us are going to help it along. I like to bring my blocks into the mix, especially for this first one. And then bending back leg, so then in this case, right leg upright into our crescent lunge. V-shaped, thumbs to the sky. Some of us might add a little bit more straightening to the back leg. That's up to you. And then we will bring our hands to our blocks on the way down, scoot them out of our way, and come into our down dog. Walk your feet to your hands, feet are hip distance, and we inhale, lift our heart. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we pause with our palms facing out. We'll keep building our flow a bit. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, lift your heart up. Bend your knees deeply, down dog. From down dog, we shift it into plank position, and then we bring our knees to our mat and slowly belly down onto our mats. Uncurl your toes for either cobra or sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under. We come through all fours, and then hips up and back for down dog. Lift your right leg behind you, step it through, help it along, and up we go. Crescent pose. We'll add a new friend, back heel, left heel down, hands in a prayer. Walk your right foot over to the left a little bit, open out to warrior two. In warrior two, we want to have a vertical line from our right knee to our right ankle, a 45-degree angle for our back foot so that our heel is a little bit closer to the back edge of our mat than our toes are. Thumbs to the sky as we reach our arms out to the sky, or up to the sky. And now we will spin on our back toes and come back to that crescent pose. Hands to our mat, down dog. From down dog, our left leg lifts. We step it into crescent pose, and a lot of us are going to help that left leg along. We might want some bend in our back knee as we come upright. And then back heel flat, left foot steps over to the right a little bit. Back heel at a 45-degree angle. We hang out for a moment and find vertical line from left knee to left ankle. 2 moments. Then carefully spinning on our back toes, maybe inching our left foot to the left, we become crescent once again, and then hands to our mat for down dog. And from down dog, let's walk our feet forward, front edge of our mat, inhale, heart lifts, and exhale, slide your hands back down to fold in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we stand into our mountain. Let's add another friend to our flow. Inhale, arms up, and then exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees, palms flat, downward facing dog. We lift our right leg behind us and we step up into crescent pose. And then from crescent, back heel down, warrior two, right foot inches over to the left. Right forearm onto right thigh. Left arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. We're not crumbled into our right shoulder. We've got a little bit of a karate chop, a little bit of buoyance there, and we pause. Then slowly out the way that we came in. So back up to warrior two, thumbs to the sky. I would inch right foot to the right as we spin on our back toes, crescent pose. Hands to your mat, step it to downward facing dog. Reach your left leg back behind you, step it into crescent pose. From crescent pose, back heel flat, inch left foot over to the right, warrior two. From warrior two, left forearm onto our thigh, right arm up to the sky, and we make sure that there's no collision of our left shoulder and left ear while we're here. We've got a little awareness around vertical line from left knee to left ankle. We bring ourselves back to warrior two. Let's inch left foot over to the left as we spin on our back toes and create a crescent pose, and then hands to our mat. We step to down dog. I will give you the option to stay here in down dog or join me as we shift to plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring our knees to our mat so carefully, all the way down onto our belly. Uncurl your toes for a cobra or a cobra or a sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under. In one piece, we come through all fours, and then we make it down dog with a hook in our tailbone. Walking forward, feet to our hands. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold it in. Make it a chair pose, bend your knees, arms to the sky, V-shape, thumbs to the sky, and then we stand up and float our arms along our sides. We'll stir that chair pose into the flow that we're building. Chair pose is our inhale. Exhale, hands to thighs, shins or ankles as we fold. Inhale, glide your hands up, palms flat, step it into downward facing dog. From down dog, shift to plank. Knees down, belly slowly all the way down. We come into our cobra or maybe our sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under. We come through all fours and then hook in our tailbone brings us to down dog. Right leg reaches and we step into our crescent pose. From our crescent pose, back, heel down, opening out, warrior two. Right forearm across our right thigh, left arm up to the sky. This time when we come back to warrior two, straighten your right leg, not a side bend, but a hinge at our hip. We bring our right hand onto our block on the outside of our right foot, left arm up to the sky, and we pause for 3 and for 2. Our exit will be different this time. Bend your right knee, spin on your back toes, move your block, step to down dog. From down dog, lift your left leg, step it into crescent pose. From crescent pose, back heel down, warrior two. Left forearm across our thigh, right arm up to the sky. Then we come back to our warrior two. Straighten our left leg. Remember, back heel, 45-degree angle, not a side bend. A hinge at our left hip. We reach way out with our left hand on our block, outside of our left foot. Right arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. 2 moments. Then slowly, we bend our front knee and spin on our back toes. As we bring our hands to our mat, we want to make the block go out of our way. We'll step to down dog. I give you the option to stay here or shift it to plank. Bring your knees to your mat, lower all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes and come into a cobra pose. And then lower down, come through all fours. Stay on all fours as we are now going to shift towards the floor and into our more let go part of our flow. I'm moving my blocks out of the way so that they are not in our way of seeing each other. We might want those a bit later. Then we take our bolster and I will go this direction so it's a little easier to see what I'm up to. So with your bolster the long way, we'll sit as if side saddle. So you can sit with both knees together and then just slide your top leg, your left leg, back behind you. It's almost like you're standing with your right foot on the top of your left thigh. Then snuggle that bolster right next to your outer right thigh. We're not sitting on it. And that's why it wants to be a bit sturdy because it's about to hold us up a little bit. We'll slide our right arm down the bolster and lie on it. Take your left arm up and over and then hold on to your left forearm and give yourself a little length, a little stretch. It's actually quite divine, is it not? We'll take a few moments just here. Then frame that bolster and turn left ribs, top ribs, towards your bolster. So you've got your bolster framed and you're looking to turn now towards it, but you remember all that space you found when we took our arm up and over. And then we'll lower down. I have to be a little careful of my microphone. I'm gonna guess that you're not wearing a microphone. I mean, if you are, no judgment. And then let your head rest, facing the direction of your knees. You might even want a folded blanket there to make this more comfortable. We are sitting in this for a couple of minutes on this side. A few things are going to come up. One is restlessness. It just happens to all of us. And the other is that part of that restlessness is you're going to try to hold yourself up. Let's see if we can surrender all efforting. And a huge part of the ability to surrender our efforting is to climb into our exhales and to make our exhales maybe even twice as long as our inhales. We're here for 2 minutes starting now, elongating our exhales and doing our best to just let go. One minute down, 1 minute to go. How's it going with surrendering and elongating exhales? We'll use our hands, slowly come up. Although I'm going to change the direction of my bolster, you can just turn your legs the other way. I don't want to turn my back on you. And now it's our left hip up against our bolster and our right leg that's sliding back for that sort of side saddle feel. We'll reach our left arm out as we lie on our left side, and then just take right arm up and over and hold that forearm and appreciate the space. Then we'll frame the bolster and turn now our right ribs towards the bolster and lower ourselves down. You'll lower all the way down. I'm going to make sure that I'm not squishing my microphone, and then your head will turn to face your knees. So that means on the outside, the left side of your face, your head. You can always use your blanket. And again, we take 2 full, silent, meditative moments here. And remember, we're going to try not to struggle to hold ourselves up. We will look to relinquish all efforting as best we can and elongate our exhales. So 2 minutes starting now. You're halfway there. Now we bring ourselves up. We'll scoot our bolster out of the way. Although, as we now prepare to take our Shavasana final meditation, we will be taking a little bit of a butterfly in our legs. And some of you might enjoy lying out over this bolster, either with your bolster right up against your butt, or slide it back so that this cusp is right in between your shoulder blades. You can do either of those, or lie down flat on your back, which is probably what most of us are going to do. Butterfly, bottoms of the feet together, blocks underneath your thighs so that you have, or books, maybe that's what it is, so that you've got it supported, and then we lie back. And this will act as a little bit of a hip stretch, and it will become a nice, long, juicy Shavasana final meditation. Let's stay with the hip stretch, and then I will guide you in a moment as to some options. You can close and even cover your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Maybe you would like to stay just exactly as you are for your Shavasana final meditation. Maybe you want to help your knees together and straighten your legs, either still on a bolster, or if you've not been on a bolster, just the way that we usually do our Shavasana final meditation. So stay put, make any adjustments, I'll get quiet, and we'll rest and digest. If your legs are still in the butterfly position, take a hold of your outer thighs and help your knees along, because you've actually been in that hip stretch longer than you might think. We'll scoot our blocks out of the way. Some of us are rolling to our side with a bolster to come off of. Some of us don't have that bolster, but we all make sure that we come up with our head being the last thing up. Any comfortable way to sit, palms up or down. A little flash of gratitude that we get to move and meditate this way together. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for